Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we play 5th and 12th in the league. We do have an opportunity to sneak into the playoff positions. Welcome back to part 5 of our Zero to Hero series, where we are playing with Taunton Town. And since you were last with me, we've gone on an okay run. It's a little bit of a mixed bag, as you can probably see here. In yesterday's episode, we got absolutely battered in the FA Cup by Ebbsfleet, and then drew 1-1 with Dulwich Hamlet. Since then, I mean, the rest of October was pretty poor, as we can see. We also lost 5-3 to Oxford City in the league and drew against Tonbridge. But we are on a 5-match unbeaten run, and we haven't actually conceded in the last 4. Ironically, and you can kind of see that over here, we have changed goalkeepers after that 5-3 loss to Oxford City, and Jack Bycroft having an atrocious game. He was at fault for at least 4 of those 5 goals. We have dropped him, and we started using our man Dominic Rogerson. For those of you who maybe don't remember, this is what Dominic Rogerson looks like. He's got a bit of potential. And as we can see, he's only actually conceded 1 goal in 5 games, which I think is a good sign of things to come. It does mean in the league, as we can see, we are currently 11th with 19 games played and 30 points on the board. It also means if we win our game in hand today, which is against Hemel Hempstead in 5th place, so it could be a difficult one, we could potentially sneak into, if not into the playoff positions, at least a lot closer to them in 9th or maybe even 8th place, depending on goal difference. The only other thing that has happened, in fact 2 things transfer-wise that have happened since yesterday's episode, is Charlie Noakes moments ago had 2 bids made for him by Truro and Redditch. He isn't under contract with us. He was on a non-contract, so he's free to go. I'd assume he probably would. He hasn't really played a lot for us. 8 appearances, I believe all of those, 6 of them are off the bench. I thought all of them were off the bench, but never mind. The other transfer since yesterday's episode is Nick Grimes. Now, obviously, he hadn't played a lot of games for us. He played 7 so far. He'd been okay, but nothing spectacular, and was moaning about game time. So we put him on the transfer list. Redditch will come in for him. We haven't got any money for him, but his wages are off the books. And that 1 appearance and a 4.5 rating for Redditch probably tells us we made the right decision. I'm not actually sure what that means we look like. £27 over the wage budget at the moment after we've offloaded him. If we get rid of Charlie Nooks as well, we should be back under that wage budget, which is all important. But for now, let's go over to our match against Hemel Hempstead. This is our lineup for today. Rogerson in goal, McLennan, Falston, Purcell and Pearson is our back 4. We then got Ashcroft, James, Lucas and Zach Smith in midfield behind Asante and Taylor Crossdale up front. Taylor Crossdale has suddenly come into some really good form as well, grabbing himself a few goals, seems to be growing into the side. And now that Nick Grimes is left, he is actually the captain at the side as well. He has some really good leadership qualities, and it was recommended by my assistant manager. You've got to listen to your assistant manager, ladies and gentlemen. So Taylor Crossdale, now captain of the club, the king of Taunton, going to be leading us from the front. Before we do start this match, of course, if you do enjoy today's episode, it would be very much appreciated and very helpful if you do hit the like button as well. Really helps out the channel. And I know you want to help me out, guys. So please help me out. How are we going to do against Hemel Hempstead today, though? As it stands, not fantastically. We are away from home. And typically, as soon as I hit record, we do seem lately to be performing either really well or really poorly. There's not a lot of in between. Ball out there to Falston, who's just kind of got ganged up on there by some defenders. Zach Smith into Taylor Crossdale, though. Nobody could get on the end of it, but Purcell has put another one, just slung that one into the area. No decorum of the man, just absolutely booted it to that rear post. And it is Asante, our semi-large forward, who has managed to get on the end of it. That was a good first ball from Zach Smith. Purcell just hitting that first time, trying to find Asante, who he does find, and the man heads home to put us 1-0 up on the night. Lovely stuff. That is exactly what we wanted. Now, it's just whether we can keep that momentum, because we do have a habit of going 1-0 up and then just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say resting on our laurels, but all of a sudden almost going, oh, we're 1-0 up. We don't need to do any more work. Which you do, lads, you do. We want to get into those playoff positions as a minimum. I don't think we're likely to be winning the league. And Asante has drawn a foul there. That looked like a bit of a lunge, and they could be going down to 10 men here. They are, Hemel Hampstead here, having a player sent off before the stroke of half-time, and it is now 11 men against 10, which works in our favour. I don't want to wish it upon the lad, but equally, if they want to do us a favour and go down to 10 men, we aren't going to object. We're just going to say thank you very much, and we will take that all day long. Hemel Hampstead, though, the players or the team that is on the ball here. It's a ball into the box, and Rogerson there has conceded a goal. It does happen occasionally. Only occasionally, though, to be fair. I feel like he's actually doing a better job than Bycroft was, which is kind of the point of having him in the team, as well as the fact that, obviously, Bycroft on loan, not going to be here next season. Very unlikely he comes back on loan. We kind of want our boy to start getting some game time. So this is ideal. However, conceding in this situation, especially when the opposition are down to 10 men, is less than ideal, and they've almost come very close there to a second as well. Taylor Crossdale, who I was obviously bumping up before the start of this match, is on a 6.4, which isn't fantastic. And I think at this point when we need a goal, if you're not playing well enough, then you come off. So Jaden Smith going to come on in place of Taylor Crossdale. Pearson's looking tired as well. No, he isn't. He's got getting one card away from suspension. Has anyone ever pressed that? Let me know in the comments below. If that comes up, do you sub the player off? Do you care? I mean, you're not going to sub him off every game for the rest of the season because he might get a yellow card, surely. At some point, he's probably going to get another yellow and get suspended. So why bother subbing him off unless you've got a particularly big game coming off? We have got some tired players here, though. Asante looking very tired, but we want to keep him on the pitch just for his goal threat. Pearson can come off for Leslie Smith, not because he's close to getting suspension, but because he looks knackered. And Jay Folson's only on a 6.3, so he's coming off for Charlie Noakes as well. I've just realised as well that Charlie Noakes leaving might be a little bit of a problem because we've just sold Nick Grimes as well. And that does leave us a little bit lacking on the central defender department. So if Noakes leaves as well, we probably need to have a little look-see on who we can get in on a free transfer just to give us a bit of backup. And lovely stuff there. Jaden Smith managing to control that ball and just square it to Asante for his second of the game. It's a little bit of a tap-in. It's a little bit of a sweaty goal, but we're going to take that one, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that big ball over the top. Jaden Smith there, sees Asante. He does have 3 defenders around him here, but he doesn't care. Asante is probably, I would say, the best and definitely the most important signing we've made so far in this save. He has been game-changing in terms of actually grabbing us those points. He is the difference between a draw and a win, or a loss and a draw. Jaden Smith once again in the box. Apparently he's drawn a foul, and that is going to be a penalty. Oh, Asante's taking it. Oh, no. Oh, he's managed to score it for his hat-trick. I was about to say I had a look, and I believe his penalty-taking attribute isn't very good, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite low. However, despite the goalkeeper going the right way, he has managed to sneak that one in there, and the lad's got himself a hat-trick. So, little round of applause there for Asante. We will take that one. Thank you very much for grabbing us those 3 points. We really, really appreciate you. We're beating expectations. I've just unlocked the achievement. It's behind my head and I realise you can't see it. But as we can see here, and we've got Goal Rush. Loads of achievements unlocking on Steam. Lovely stuff. As you can see here now, Tonbridge do have a game in hand behind us, but we have gone up to 8th. 33 points. Worthing on 33 points in 6th place, just better than us on goal difference. So hopefully they drop some points somewhere. We get the win against Braintree in this next match. We can sneak into those playoffs positions. That would be a lovely way to end this episode. Well, we're not quite at the next match, but I had to come back and show you this. Asante has just got the National League South Player of the Month, 4 appearances, 5 goals, and almost an average rating of 8. Dedicating it to me, of course, because I'm his lovely manager. And obviously, it is all down to me. And as that is the case, I have also just won the accolade of getting Manager of the Month. This is job done, ladies and gentlemen. I did forget to mention as well, if you go have a look at my profile, the club did pay for me to get my first license. So we are a now Sunday League footballer experience, but we have a National C coaching license. We are going up in the world. And also shortly after that, Charlie Noakes has just left the club to go and join Redditch and his friend Nick Grimes, which does admittedly leave us a little bit short, as I mentioned, in the central defender department. So we probably need to go and have a look at that. You know what that means? Just go to our director of football and see what he thinks. Hopefully by next episode, if he gives us anything good here, we'll actually have some players in. Right, Nathan Cameron, I know you're really good, but you also want an obscene amount of wages, so that's just not going to happen. We will offer these other guys some trials, though, see what they look like, and hopefully we'll be back to a full contingent of central defenders by the next episode. Probably not before the match against Braintree, though, because that is today. But for now, enough of all that stuff. Let's get back to the match against Braintree. I have made absolutely zero changes. Asante's a little bit tired, so I reckon he can probably play 45 minutes or so before I'm going to need to think about bringing him off. But we have got Jaden Smith to just slot in there as well, so it shouldn't be, in theory, a massive problem. Hopefully by that point he's scored 2 goals, we're 2-0 up, and we don't need to worry about bringing him off. He can have a lovely rest, sit on the bench and just watch the rest of the team benefit and reap the fruits of his labour. You might have noticed as well that we are playing Ashcroft over on the left now rather than Stern, and it's just another case of Stern's going to be leaving at the end of the season. Ashcroft is currently on a non-contract. I'd quite like him to be playing enough that he'll sign a full contract with us at the end of the season, because we've seen he's got loads of decent potential. He's one of our boys. Let's try and keep hold of him. And I think he's performing pretty well over on that left-hand side. It does mean we're now playing with a winger rather than an inverted winger. I did not like that. That was too close for comfort. Braintree are all the way down in 12th, if I remember. So realistically, at least on form and current league position, this is a match we should be winning. Taylor Crossdale there. Brilliant first touch to gather the ball. Passing it back to Zach Smith, who hopefully can just thump across into the box for Asante to get onto. Instead, he goes back to outside the penalty area to James Lucas now. Lucas, by the way, who's in a little bit of a strop because he looked really tired a couple of games ago. So I subbed him off in the 60th minute because we were winning and we didn't really need him on the pitch. And he's come to us in a little bit of a strop because we subbed him off. We have told him it's because he was looking tired and we were winning at the time. So we'd rather rest him, given he was only, you know, 3rd game back after quite a long injury layoff. But he is having absolutely none of it and is quite annoyed at me. I mean, never mind. It's one of those things. We're trying to protect your Weetabix legs. I don't know if they are Weetabix legs. It might have been the first injury he'd ever got in his career, for all I know. But either way, he's not happy with us. So we'll see how that develops. It could be another player that in a month or so is going to be wanting to leave. We have just managed to defend that by the skin of our teeth. We are not making this look very comfortable today. I talk about getting in the playoffs. I should stop talking because every time I mention something like we're on a good run or we could get into the playoffs at the start of an episode, we then, for the rest of the episode, decide that we're going to do our best to not do that thing. So maybe if we just don't ever mention it, then it will happen. We are kind of in control of this tie. The possession's fairly equal and we've got more shots. Our XG, though, is awful. So that seems to indicate to me we're getting long shots from range rather than anywhere actually in the opposition box. Although, equally, it's kind of the same for them. Demonstrated there by that shot from Blair that was miles out the box and sailing over the crossbar. I'd really, though, we are in the playoff positions. Ladies and gentlemen, have a look. 7th place. I would rather we actually start looking threatening, maybe. Purcell here, gathering the ball off of that short throw. Pearson now in bags of space can bring it forward. Zach Smith to Pearson again. And we're just keeping hold of the ball here. looking for that pass. Porcel has thought he's seen it. It is nodded away, but only as far as James threads it through to Taylor Crosdale. He does have a shot, but it's not really going to trouble the goalkeeper because it's not on target. Taylor Crosdale letting us down. Ashcroft here, the man we were talking about at the start of this match, taking a free kick. It's his first goal for the club, and what a goal it is. Brilliant stuff. That is one way to put us 1-0 up in a tie. What a great goal. I mean, that wall probably wasn't placed very well. I'm not a goalkeeper, but it looks to me like it should have been shunted over a little bit, and he would have fired that straight into the wall. Instead of that, he's managed to bend it round. Goalkeeper hasn't really seen what's happening, and all of a sudden, themselves 1-0 down. Asante's going to come off now. Jaden Smith's going to play up there. He can kind of do a job as a target man, so we're not too worried about that. And I think Zach Smith comes off as well because he's looking tired. Ross Stern can come on over on that right hand side. He can play over on the left as inverted winger, and then the right is a winger, so he is quite useful in that regard because I only need to have one player on the bench, which again is kind of very, very good value when you can only have 5 players on the bench. Have someone who can play multiple positions, which is a little bit of a more of a thing in non-league, to be sure. Lucas here gathering up the ball again. He's got loads of players over here. I was going to say someone needs to pick out Ashcroft. Instead, it's gone through to Taylor Crosdale, who once again has decided, because I said he was scoring goals, just not going to score anymore. Doesn't want to score on screen anymore. He's had enough of it. We were relying on him too much, and he is absolutely sick of it. Leslie Smith here, going to come on for Jay Falston. Couldn't see who I took off then. Jay Falston going to come off because he's looking quite tired. We have got about 10-11 minutes left of this tie, plus additional time added, of course. Hopefully, we can just see this game out now. That'd be great. Taylor Crosdale nodding that one down to Ashcroft. He's threaded it through to the fresh Jaden Smith, and the fresh Jaden Smith has grabbed his 9th goal of the season. Now, we should be fully comfortable seeing this game out. 2-0 up against Braintree. Everything is showing up Taunton right now. Great distribution there from Rogerson. He does seem to do that better than Bycroft as well. If nothing else, the fact that he isn't giving away tons and tons of possession on every goal kick, I think is a added bonus, which makes him a lot better than Bycroft. We're all the way up in 5th now. I'm aware there's teams with game in hand, but let's just celebrate this while it's happening. 5th place for Taunton Town, and we were expected, I believe, on the season preview in episode 1 to finish 23rd in this league. I mean, we would have to have the worst collapse in the history of a football club in order to do that now. We might not get promotion this season. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near first. Oh, look, we're playing first next. Who's first? Who is that we're playing next? We are playing Hampton and Richmond next, who are first. So that could, you know, put a slight dent in our plans. Welling in 4th. Farnborough in 24th. We've then got Havant and Waterloo in the FA Trophy 3rd round. So we probably will come back for that. And then we've got a couple of games against Weymouth, Concord, Chippenham. Maybe we come back for the Havant and Waterloo match and the Chippenham match. It fluctuates so much that it's hard to know what positions teams are going to be in by the time we get back. I guess we'll find out and see in the next episode on Monday. Of course, if you have enjoyed today's episode and seen Taunton in the playoff positions, I reiterate, Taunton Town are in the playoff positions, then please do drop a like down below. It's always very, very much appreciated. It really, really helps out the channel. I will be eternally grateful. Until next time though, guys, thank you very much for watching today. I will see you on Monday, where we will continue our journey with Taunton Town and hopefully solidify our position in those playoffs. Bye-bye.